going on, everybody? Anthony
What a
here.
lovely countdown that was.
Wasn't that lovely? It was nice.
Did you make that, or was that like?
No, it's just a stock 30-second countdown.
Wow.
Yeah, well, does it 6-minute intro? Didn't really do that one right now. So I figured, hey, a nice 30-second intro. But Rob, what's up, man? How are you?
What's going on, man? I feel zen for the day because of that intro.
Do we need to be zen right now with this heat?
Yeah, it's definitely heating up. Going to be in the hundreds here in LA soon.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we're 115, 117, 18 all week and next week.
Yeah, I picked a good time to stop drinking alcohol.
Well, yeah.
I'm telling you, these eight of these are like 10 of these a day. These mason jars full of ice water.
Oh, and it's all full of ice.
It's all melted out, man.
I need to get some water. I've just been drinking coffee, but
I feel like my liver's like, thank God.
Oh, it's probably a good respite, right?
Yeah, I've done that occasionally. Like, I'll stop drinking for like a year, work out, get in shape, spend more rather than buy fifths of Jameson all the time. Every 5/5 I don't buy is a so-so toy.
Well, I mean, that's a good way of looking at it, right?
That's it. It all comes down. By the way, guess what I got from the guys at Mondo?
Oh,
I got that Wolverine.
They did.
They sent me that Wolverine. I got to give it up. Let's hear it. Drink to Mondo.
Yeah, to Mondo over there, guys. Mondo toys, dude. That was so fun. That's funny about the email too. You didn't even see it, and
I didn't see it. Well, it was in my spam filter because sometimes that happens, and I should look in my spam filter, but every time I do, it's daunting to there's so much crap in it. I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
Oh yeah, even myself, just like regular emails, it's just like,
yeah.
Sometimes you miss stuff. Sometimes you miss stuff. So but anyway, so you got some news this morning.
We got some new, bro. First of all, a lot of news. Let's talk about. We're talking not about like politics. We're talking EXO-6, right?
Sure, we're talking figures.
Just
I don't know what's going on.
So 𝗕𝗔𝗩𝗓, our boy 𝗕𝗔𝗓 on Facebook, who I follow him. He had a picture of Kirk and Spock, Admiral Kirk and 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗓 Spock, on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Yeah,
and he flat out said that there is a chair in production, and he also said that 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗓 is coming in the next 3 weeks. Well, it's going to be done in the next 3 weeks.
That's exciting, right?
𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗓, dude. I mean, come on. Who would have thought I would have gotten the triumvirate of 3 of my favorite fictional characters of all time as they were all mad and angry? Kirk didn't want to be Admiral. Spock was depressed because he didn't pass 𝗕𝗘𝗓𝗓. And McCoy was studying for Brainy medicine and got drafted to come on the Enterprise. So now you can see angry Kirk, Spock, and McCoy and set them all up, and I love it.
Yeah, and you're more of a Wrath of Khan, of course, but you're real partial to TMP.
I love Star Trek: The Motion Picture is my favorite Star Trek movie, and the new 4K remastered version, the director's edition, goes a long way toward explaining why. People who have watched the new director's edition that were not big fans of the movie have seen now what I see in it, I think.
Yeah, because realistically, I mean, even me, remember, I mean, I liked it, but it was always kind of seen as like a slower
Star Trek: The Slow Motion Picture. That's what it was called.
Yeah, very almost.
I never thought it was like that, but
no, but I know a lot of people tried to.
Most people did.
Yeah, I would compare kind of like Kubrick. That's just kind of that slow pacing and. But the new one's awesome. Yeah, the remaster.
Yeah, the remaster is really good, and it adds a lot of scenes, and of course, one of the most significant moments in Star Trek: The Motion Picture that was cut from the theatrical release was when Spock was crying. He actually was shedding a tear on the bridge of the Enterprise, and he was asked for us, Spock, and he says, "No, I weep for 𝗕𝗔𝗓 as I would a brother." and the whole Star Trek: The Motion Picture, when they talk about something that Star Trek never had until the motion picture was during the original series, the 79 episodes of the original series, when an adventure would occur and it was finished, it was over at the end of that episode, it really wasn't mentioned ever again.
Right. So
it wasn't a serialized story. And so the characters, by definition, really couldn't change because that was the nature of episodic television in the 60s. So Star Trek: The Motion Picture was the first time where a character had a significant change, and that Spock finally realized, truly understood because of his psychic connection with 𝗕𝗔𝗩, who represented total logic, how the reason that 𝗕𝗔𝗩 couldn't evolve is because, as Spock says in the movie, as he's holding Kirk's hand, this simple feeling is beyond 𝗕𝗔𝗩's comprehension. And Kirk says what 𝗕𝗔𝗩 needs is a human quality. So Spock realized this thing that he had been suppressing his whole life, his human side. And then in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the way Nimoy plays Spock, he's a little bit more zen, you know, and the way you see Spock give Kirk a tale of two cities at the beginning of the movie. You know, message Spock, none that I'm aware of, except of course, happy birthday. Right. You know, and so there is a change in Spock, and you see it all the way through the films, even all the way up to Star Trek VI. And Spock asks, you know, he muses about, have we become, you know, so old in our ways that we've outlived our usefulness? And he's mellowed out because he's understood, rather than fighting against his human side or feeling he has to become Uber Vulcan, which is something they don't understand on Strange New Worlds at all. Leonard Nimoy understands how, I mean, Nimoy plays the character with such greater depth than we've ever seen it before. Of course, he's written that way, but I've always loved that. And the fact that Nanjin, you know, decided, this is why I love EXO-6 so much, is because he made those three figures as opposed to just doing Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in their generic uniforms, because everyone's done that.
Right.
But we've never had a Disco McCoy figure. Certainly not on 6 scale.
I don't know. I don't even know if, I mean, did Playmates do it? I don't remember. They did everything, so I don't remember. But
Playmates, I don't think that Playmates did Disco McCoy. I don't remember. By the way, Robert online asks, is that Prince behind me? Yes. It is an exclusive. Actually, it's a custom. It's one of 30, and it's the most expensive action figure I own, because I'm a fanatical Prince fan, and it's great. And I think the face sculpt is terrific as well. And I really love it.
Yeah.
One of 30.
But
So Toys is coming out with the Prince.
They are.
So, and then we had another announcement today.
We did.
I mean, we had Next Generation, third season, Next Generation Data.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
With a new face sculpt, and you've got things that are accessible in his head, like his positronic brain or something.
Yes.
Multiple head. I mean, again, one of the great things about EXO-6 is the tailoring. Look at how great the tailoring is on this figure. So good. And the face sculpt on these Datas is bang on.
Yeah, and so they're different head sculpts from the previous First Contact.
Yeah.
I mean, people were asking that.
This is Data. I mean, you might even mistake this picture for being Brent Spiner himself.
Yeah. No, it's really good. So it went up today. I think pre-orders are until the end of July. I think they cut off. I need to double check. I think it was July 26th. July 26th. So yeah, this is going to kick off it's the first bridge crew of TNG.
By the way, Robert also says very cool Prince. I bought a 6-scale Beverly Hills Cop. I bought a custom head for him. I also bought the Beverly Hills Cop 2 figure with the Detroit jacket. I need that custom head sculpt.
Remember, my buddy, I know, I keep forgetting, but we'll touch on that because he makes one, which is really awesome. But 2 spots.
2 spots, man.
Yeah. For those that don't know, that's Data's cat.
I mean, I love that EXO-6 now has made Porthos the dog for Archer, and now is making Spot for Data.
Yeah. So I mean, very cool. I mean, there's I wanted to say, because some people didn't know, as you had mentioned, with the 2 versions, that excuse me, the essential version is more of like the bare bones kind of version, right? So the standard is the one with everything.
Yeah, which is the reverse, but I want the standard.
Yes. Yeah. So I wanted to, let's see, I think I have, so with the essential version, you've got your tricorder and phaser and 4 hands. But then, so the standard version, that's the big one. That's the one that comes with the alternate head in both spots and the pad.
I love that it comes with 2 spots.
Yeah, well, one is nice because, like you mentioned, like with Porthos, just kind of like a sitting pose, and then the other one is that he can cradle, as you can see there.
Oh yeah,
which is awesome, which is very awesome. But here's kind of a comparison between the 2 heads. If you can see it, I'll zoom in a little bit for you.
Is the one with the little up crick lips, is that the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of got more of a little bit of a smile. I like that.
Yeah.
But again, these are great head sculpts, great paint ops. Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, so this one, like I said, that was for the
yeah, how cool is that? And I bet that's going to be
Yeah.
attached with a magnet too, isn't it?
Yeah, so that one's really, like you mentioned, the positronic brain exposed. Imagine maybe having, I don't know, Jordy or somebody working on it.
Yeah, how cool. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So I figure, hey, but I know a lot of people had asked because they weren't sure what version to get. And because I know it can sometimes be a little confusing, but and I got a link in the description right below as well for you guys that excuse me, the essential version. That's the one that's going to give you everything. So I know that's what you're looking for, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see, what did Robert Allen say? Curious for everyone in your opinion, 6EO, what should be standard price for a list figure? 2-4. Well, I think anything 400 and up starts to get very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, what I really do appreciate is how companies like third-party figures have stayed below $200 for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, not like a like the metal armored Tom Cruise from The Last Samurai. I mean, I get that. I think that's Pop Toys or something. But if you have a standard figure, I appreciate the fact that it's less than $200, 175. But there's great deals at places even that we shall not speak their names or whatever. But you can find, especially toy retailers now in Hong Kong are selling things quite cheap. You just have to make sure that their shipping costs still allow you to get them cheap.
Yeah, that's that overseas shipping sometimes.
Yeah,
that can be killer. Thank you, Bob, by the way. Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you saw my Instagram post, but I did finally. This is the pose that I went with. For my throne and Q.
Now, how cool is that? How cool is that?
Dude, I mean, I have one hand on the throne itself, and his hand up like this. I'm so happy with this, and it was great because I futzed with his costume to make it look, because he's sitting down, obviously. So I wanted to make him look as regal as possible.
I love it. And you want to try to make like a crane attachment or anything?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Like get a piece of metal, and bolt it to the wall and have a flat piece that I can have him, because his throne was kind of like this. Yeah. Dockinator says, I need that throne so bad. Where can I find it, Rob? It was on Etsy, and it's 3D Trekker. And I have to say, my dealings with him, I guess it's him and his wife, was fantastic. Fantastic. This thing came packed like it could have survived a nuclear explosion. Beautifully packed. And I have to say, I was wondering, I didn't really understand, did I have to paint it? And no. I mean, it was molded in color. Now, you could paint it and add detail to it. Like I was thinking of putting a wash on the... and what's really cool is like these things at the front, I was thinking about putting a wash on these just to give it more detail, but they fasten with magnets, and the magnets are so good you can turn it upside down and these don't fall off. Oh,
just slide right out like that, huh?
Yeah, they're just on the top and they come right down, and which was helpful when I was setting him up. You could futz around, and then the chair just pops in and it's snug. But when you start putting him in, so I used Gorilla Glue and I glued the chair. You don't have to do this, by the way. I glued the chair into the base. It's already snug, But when I was putting him down to pose him, it was tending to pop out, and I'm not going to move it anywhere. But they make tons of cool shit. They're the people that do the whole 6-scale classic Enterprise bridge.
Oh,
That, it cost you $7,000 to get it all. But I highly recommend. I mean, the chair is $175, but it makes it worth it because to me, having Q on this throne and, you know, going with the pose I went with, it just makes him regal, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get the chair.
It's really their customer service is great. I was very happy with the product. I mean, it's really thick, heavy, 3D printed, and while you can tell it's 3D printed, like for the base and stuff for the floor, it gives a really nice texture. It just, if it was just a flat piece of plastic, 3D printed whatever it is, resin plastic, it would be okay. But I like the fact that they printed these things in color, and it's really neat.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you don't want to have to go through the effort of getting something and then painting it yourself. I'm not a painter,
right? And I'm so happy with the chair because, you know, Q is kind of, he was really only in that outfit in his throne room,
right?
So, you know, what do you do? And he was sitting down in his throne room. He wasn't like wandering around his throne room, you know, making pronouncements. He was in that chair the whole time. So to have him sitting in that chair, it immediately, you know, it's great. I love EXO-6.
Dude.
So,
yeah. Well, listen, that was, you know, he was the first next generation figure because he's
right.
He was the beginning.
Well, he was the first after they made the movie First Contact figures.
True, but I mean, as far as the next generation,
yeah, that's
line, like the movie or the show line, right?
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. No, but I mean, I know, you know, this is going to be interesting because I know a couple people that are going to want both versions.
Yeah, no, I would definitely want both versions. But does this mean that we're going to get the only thing I worry about is like so far EXO-6 is like, I don't expect we're not going to get the entire Enterprise crew. We're getting Archer, but we're not going to. I wouldn't imagine maybe we will. I don't know.
Maybe.
But the fact that we'll get the whole Voyager crew, I'd love to get. It looks like Deep Space Nine. We've seen teases of Bashir and Kira, and we know we're getting Quark, and we already have Cisco. So that's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And then I love that we're getting the motion picture, the Troika. And you know, who knows what we're gonna get. The Wrath of Khan figures, even if we only get 4, actually 5, so it'd be Saavik, Khan, and then Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And then I would like to get all of the original series though figures.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, but then would you I mean, you're gonna, regardless, you would end up getting that custom bridge,
bro. Come on,
can you imagine?
I mean, here the one thing is that Elizabeth would kill me because I already told her about
I mean,
it.
that's a given. That's a given.
I can't like sneak it in, but I have to tell you, getting that bridge and building a giant like lucite, if you could build a lucite table or something like that, and have like some kind of a hinged roof that you could open up, but then put a really nice like butcher block wood piece over the top of it. So you could also use it as I could get away with putting it in a main room or something.
Yeah.
And only when certain friends are coming over do you take off the butcher block top and you have it all lit up. And because then I would love to get somebody to build, because if you could build the actual exterior of the Enterprise where the bridge is, how cool would that be?
Well, and then you just do a custom like a acrylic or glass table.
That's what I mean. Well,
yeah,
so
in there,
it's in a table, but so it's in a lucite. You make the table, but you have a piece of wood you can put over it, so it looks like a nice piece of furniture, and then it's covered up. And then when people who won't judge you for it, then you take off the, and you still have a table. It just has the whole Enterprise.
Well, I mean, could you maybe do it low key in the observatory for a while? And
yeah,
like, I got a new coffee table for
us.
But
that thing would be huge. I mean, it would be huge.
Yeah, like 5 feet by 5 feet or something. Something large.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was working on the Axanar project, we built a full-scale bridge.
That's
and it
true.
was big. And to reduce it by I mean, you're probably talking, you know, something like this big.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Maybe that could fit in here.
Yeah.
I'd make.
I mean,
it fit
if
in
you
here.
had an area at least to just start kind of building it slowly and get like a bunch of boxes that kind of block its path, and then you're kind of behind there working on it, and then before you know it, you got a new coffee table.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can't.
I don't know. I just love everything everything that EXO-6 is doing.
Well, appreciate data. Like I said, he's gonna be what did I say, July 26th cut off. So yeah, no, it's gonna be good. That's kicking off the crew there. I mean,
Meyer Burnett says it'd be 64 inches across without the turbo lift.
Oh, almost 7 feet. Right, 36.
It could be done.
Yeah,
that's a big table.
That's a big table. That is a big table, dude.
Yeah, but how cool would that be?
Well, look, I know there's no doubt it would be cool, man. But like, where I don't even know where I put half of my figures as it is, and then vehicles, and then I'm like, okay, where am I really?
I got another email because I got a shipping notice from Jazz Inc. about my snow speeder.
Oh yeah,
and they said that those shipping notices. I love Jazz Inc. They're the best. They said those shipping notices were all they were saying was that the shipping had been ordered, but there was a misconception that they'd been shipped, but they don't get shipped out until tomorrow because they're waiting for some more pieces to put in.
Oh, okay.
So my snow speeder should be here next week.
Yeah, probably next week, right? Oh, jeez.
I'll make an unboxing video.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then you're gonna try to hang it, you think?
You know what? I don't know. I've been moving stuff around in here, and I don't know because it comes with the thing is I've got shelves are pretty high up. I don't have any low shelves in here. I need to get like lower. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it.
Did you think about maybe getting like like a garage rack or something that's real deep and kind of have it in there like on an angle?
Well, I've been seeing, I don't know if it was Bob Dylan, somebody made a really cool wall mount for their Batwing.
The Stronghold displays, he's making those for the.
Does he make those that you can bolt it to the wall?
Yeah, yeah.
And that is whatever that thing is. It's awesome. I want to get that.
Okay. Well, I know he sells. I think they're like $400. But it's specifically made for the Batwing, and he's doing the snow speeder one, and then he have like a logo on it.
Yeah, the Bat one does. I'm totally gonna get that then because that's awesome.
Okay, that would be kind of cool.
The only thing I was wondering is can you dust? Is it so rickety and fragile that if you tried to dust, it would fall off or something?
No. I mean, I've seen Bob's Batwing. He has it mounted, and I mean, you can. It's sturdy. It's on there, and you can move it around. And
yeah.
Well, so
shit, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Lava. I don't know why there wasn't a notification. That's I'm not sure. Did anybody else get a notification that we went live? Let me know, or if it's, I have no idea. But already ordered data. Awesome, dude. Yeah, no, that's really cool because I mean, I may end up getting the Batwing as well, dude. And if I do, I'm definitely getting that guy's mount.
Oh yeah,
dude. So I mean, for the snow speeder, you could totally do that if you wanted to. Just make sure you find studs in the wall, get it locked in, and then you can swivel it and angle it however. He's got like an arm that can come out, so you can really get it like just how you want it, man. So next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have you get in touch with him if you want to get one of their stands. Their mount.
Totally.
Yeah, because like I said, he's doing it for the snow speeder as well. So see, Randall got the live notice. That's interesting. I'm not too sure. I have no idea, guys. Maybe it's just a YouTube thing. So I'm not sure. I am not sure. Rob, did you get the 66 Joker?
Not yet.
Okay.
I need to get that. I got to put it with my Batmobile.
Yes. Yeah, my dynamic duo has shipped, speaking of, because I didn't have the Hot Toys, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that 2-pack, I saw Justin's review of it. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks good. And then for those who missed it, I know they're doing another order.
Yeah, I mean, they look so good in that Batmobile.
All right, that's what I'm going to do. As soon as they get here. as soon as they get there. I mean, I kind of want to pose them a little too, but they got to be driving. They got to be in the seats.
Oh yeah,
they got to be in the seats. You got the car, so
I need to get another set of those Batman and Robins because I'm gonna get the bike.
Oh, the Bat Cycle. You're gonna get that
Bat Cycle. Yeah.
Okay. I thought about it, but then I was like, well, I have the car, and then again, it's a space thing,
right?
I'm like, where do I put it? Where do I put it?
Final frontier.
Right. I mean, geez. And speaking of, I mean, this, Trek is just going to keep growing and growing as it is. So I have to really kind of prioritize. Like, what do I really want? Because everything's awesome, right? I got my DeLorean coming and the Ecto-1 coming. Dude, the Tomy Enterprise, that should be in a couple months. I don't know if you had paid attention to what their updates were.
Wait, the Tomy Enterprise?
Yeah.
I thought they said October.
Well, it's July.
Oh.
I mean, it's not that far.
August, September, October. Yeah, 3 months. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not too far out. Like, let's start making plans for space.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. So that's what I mean. Between that and the Ecto-1 and the DeLorean and the 66 and then eventually the 89 Batmobile, I'm like, it's a lot of space. It is a ton of space, dude. I don't know what the hell.
Dude, see, my problem is I have a garage. I have one room, and I can do with this room whatever I want, but it is finite.
Well, yeah, everything's
and I'm thinking, I mean, what I need is if I could build all the way to the ceiling and have like ladders. The problem is, like, you can only go 4 Moducases cases up, and then you can't see what's in the Moducases cases,
right?
Unless you back up. And that's the thing. I mean, do I go for a 4th layer of Moducases cases? I look at some people whose Moducases cases, like the one guy, like Denobi's Moducases cases. The way he streams, you can see his. I really like his display. I think it's 4, but it goes all the way back. And it's like L-shaped. I don't have that much. I don't have a room that's that big. And so I've cleared out a corner, and I've got, now that Moducase has made those corner pieces.
Dude,
so
I know, right?
So I can do DX 120's corner piece, then a DF60, a DX 120, and DX 60, or maybe 2 DX 120s. I don't know, but that's all the space I have.
Yeah, well, the corner is going to really help. I mean, if you wanted to do that and like kind of maximize.
Well, that's yeah. And the thing about those corner pieces, especially with the DX 120, I mean the DX level, you can fit quarter scale figures in those corners.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, and so those corner pieces are great because so far right now, with the square, the corners are useless. I mean, you can still use them, but with the corner pieces, you can put something because it has a flat face, so you can look at it. You can actually look at stuff.
Yeah, well, I get, because I know what you mean. You don't want to go like too high up because then you're like, I can't see anything.
Right.
Like I got my top shelf, but I mean I have my Emperor throne room and the Royal Guards and other stuff, but it's like it's high up. I mean, it's not like in a case though. It's like on the top, above it. But eventually, if you were to case it all up, I mean, I do have a Moducase case right up there, and it's just, it's hard. But like you said, space is finite. So then it's like, well, what do you do? I mean, what do you do? I don't know. It's pretty insane, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Trying to fucking come up with space is killer. But damn it, Spock, dude, thank you, my man, for celebrating 13 months of channel memberships after Garrick. Are there any secondary DS9 figures planned? Plain and simple Garrick. I mean, we'll see.
I'd love to get a 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗄𝗏.
Oh, so would I.
And a 𝗦𝗢𝗠𝗏.
𝗦𝗢𝗠𝗏.
One of the 𝗦𝗢𝗠s.
Yeah, I would love. But here's the problem, though. Just as a fan, right? We would want everything. 𝗦𝗢𝗠𝗏, 𝗕𝗘𝗏, Martok, Gowron, like everybody.
Yeah. I mean, well, look, I can't wait to get that Krug, the Christopher Lloyd Krug. That might be the best Klingon with that face sculpt. I mean, we won't know until we have it in hand, but that last picture is amazing.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love, dude. Anything from the movies is awesome. But I mean, any Trek in general, like, but the movie stuff just really hit. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
just,
I mean, I would love a General Chang, Christopher Lloyd as Chang, you know, and Gorkon,
dude.
just because those red, you know, they made, there's a 1/350th scale model of the Kronos 1, Chancellor Gorkon's battle cruiser from Star Trek 6, but it's big. It's like this big.
Oh.
Is really, really cool.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, anything Trek, well, you know me, I'm in the same boat. Like, anything Trek I would be in. Andreas, I put a link in the description, maybe just directly to data right in the description of the stream. But if you just go to EXO-6.com, I'll actually just post it in the chat to make it a little easier for you right now, guys. If you want to go ahead and get a pre-order in, pre-orders are until July 26th. So yeah, Pursuit of Awesomeness celebrating 6 months of membership. Thank you, my man. Q3, everyone. Are you excited for Dead Strange? I am. I don't know. Is that something that you're interested in getting?
You know, I haven't got it yet, but I really want the Iron Strange.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, I haven't got it yet, but I want it. I don't know why. You know, I like those kinds of, but the zombie stuff to me is like, it's fine.
You wound me, sir.
But look, I mean, like in terms of like I'm getting the Infinity Ultron. I can't wait for that because I love that. But like, and the Dead Strange is cool but that's part of the What If line, right?
No, it was from Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, it is coming from. Okay, well then maybe. I mean, you know, that could be cool. I mean, why not?
Well, here's the thing. I was a big fan of the Marvel Zombies comics.
Yeah, I like them. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, I mean, in the sense where I'm like I would want them though. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, because I have all the comics. I got the big zombie bus, a lot of stuff. I have the zombie Deadpool and the Mysterio's Illusion Iron Man. Remember that one where he looked kind of like a zombie?
Right. Yeah.
From Far From Home. I forget what it's called. The second movie, right? So I figured, you know what? I'm gonna put them all together. And I think they would look really, really awesome. Here, I'll just show you just in case it's been a minute since you've seen it. Because we're all pushers here, but I mean, dude.
Yeah, no. That's right. Why not?
Dude, look how
that's a pretty badass figure. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the one I'm most excited for, but jeez. Yeah, just that pose alone, wherever I just saw it. Look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yep. I mean, the wingspan's like, you know what, like.
Plus, I mean, I like horror figures too.
Yeah. So and we don't get this very often for something like that. So that's why I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's to answer your question, yeah, I'm excited for it. That's my one anticipation of the year, dude. So I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what else is on the horizon, man. I just know that everybody's very excited. A lot of hearing nothing but positive responses this morning about Data. I know you were super excited hearing about it.
Now, let me ask you, since it's in the picture, are we going to get his navigation console or what?
You mean like for the Enterprise?
Yeah, the Enterprise D. You know, he's sitting at his. Look at one of the big pictures is we're getting Borg alcove, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so this. Come on, man. You know me and my chairs.
Oh, I mean, is this I don't know. Is that physical or is that
Well, that's what I'm wondering because it's not like Nanjin's not making a full scale Enterprise D bridge, but we've seen pictures. This looks like a separate piece. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to.
Because theoretically, he hasn't actually mentioned. He's talked a lot about the motion picture and the Wrath of Khan captain's chairs and the difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we already have the First Contact captain's chair. But this is a cool way to display Data.
Oh, I would think so. But we'll have to see. I'm not Not really sure about that. I do know that we get 2 cats. I can tell you that much. You know,
you can have a temporal anomaly and have Spot get split into 2.
you could. I guess you could. Yeah,
You could set up a situation where Data finds out that he's got 2 spots.
that would be hilarious. Yeah, he can be holding one and then looking down at the other with the that perplexed look. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen, so the standard version, this is going to be the one that comes with the alternate head. I don't know what 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘 talking about. Look at him screaming in caps. I don't know anything. I know that there's a captain's chair from First Contact.
Yeah, and well, he's also talked about, on Facebook at least, talked about the 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗠𝗘 and the motion picture. He said the motion picture chair is coming.
Yes, he has said that.
Look at you. Yes, he did.
Well, he did. I'm just
I know he's your boss. It's cool, man. I'm not going to sell you down the river.
No, I'm just stating fact. Sell me down the river. I don't know how many times people were like, hey, what do you know? What's up? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. No, we'll see. No, of course not. I know. But no, this is like, for me, just as a fan, though, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's a great figure.
Yeah, I think everybody.
And then he's teased other figures like even Beverly Crusher. You know, he's shown, or Beverly Crusher or Deanna, he's shown the female Next Generation body with the bluish, greenish.
Yeah, with the Starfleet medical.
Yeah.
In the gown. Yeah.
Because in addition to my love of chairs, I love redheads.
Well, who doesn't?
I know, right?
I mean, they're at the rate we're going, they could soon be extinct.
I hope not.
Me too. I was reading about that not that long ago.
Of course, that's true of us in general.
Well, with this new dawn of AI, I don't think, who knows? Who knows how long we're gonna last? So we gotta enjoy our time while we're here.
It's true.
By collecting figures.
That's right. Collecting pieces of plastic that'll outlive us.
I think it will. I definitely think they will. Yeah, no, it's funny. But it's good because I know a lot of people had missed out on First Contact data.
Right.
That was the first figure.
Yes.
Long before people even knew. So I don't know. I know a lot of people
know. You just decide. You're choosing not to tell us.
Well, I want to hear your thoughts. I mean, you already know mine.
Well, I mean, look, I'm other than Burnham and Saru, which I have ethical, moral, and principles, so I won't. I have ethical and moral reasons, and I don't mind anybody. I don't begrudge anyone who loves Discovery. I don't. I, however, did not buy Burnham and Saru, but everything else must buy. And I have to tell you, that picture you posted, did you take that picture of the Voyager crew?
I did.
That's a great picture.
They're right there.
That was a great picture, and I really liked that picture. And I was like, wow, that really, the poses you had, I like the pose. I like that picture. I'm like, that's what's cool. Is having an action figure is cool. But when you have multiple action figures and can put a whole crew up and display them that way, then it becomes exponentially cooler.
Well, that's what makes it. Yeah, exactly, right? Because some people I know they enjoy just, you can have like a museum pose or segregated of sorts just on different parts of the shelves or.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But to put up a whole crew.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull it up for you guys. And I find it real quick because I don't know if everybody had seen it. Let's see here. And while I'm looking, let's see. Burnham, Saru, were such good. I like the figures, of course, but I understand not everybody is a fan of the property, right? Especially lately, Strange New Worlds. I don't know. Not much of a fan of that one, but let me see if I can pull this up. Here, guys, bear with me. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull this up on my computer. Did that share? There you go. This is the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep. I love this picture.
Thank you. No, I did that last night. I'm working on Harry Kim right now, as most people know. They've gotten theirs, or his is on the way.
Is mine on the way?
Yeah, I believe so. So, yeah, and that's the thing, right? I'm like, okay, now we have enough. Not the whole crew, but we have enough.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do a show. So, which I thought was cool. And then of course, our good friend Terry Dallas, he shared it. I was like, oh wow, shit. It's like, okay, so it just kind of blew up a little bit this morning, at least on my neck of the woods. So that was really cool of him. And I think
he's really good friends with Jerry Ryan too.
Oh yeah. And that was cool. So I was like, all right, but not the full, right? We still have Tom Paris, Blana Torres, Neelix.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Blana Torres or Neelix in terms of, we know that Tom Paris is coming.
Right. I mean, for the crew.
Right.
To be complete, like, it makes it so difficult sometimes, Rob. I'm like, what am I saying? But we'll see. But yeah, Paris for sure. He's up for pre-order right now.
Or as I like to call him, Nick Locarno.
Do you think that had to do with just the fact that whoever wrote that story, the first duty, TNG?
Oh yeah, there are Writers Guild rules that define if you create a character and that character gets used or gets put into a new series, you have to pay the original writer. So they definitely just changed the character. It was I'm sure I am 100% positive that they were going to make that character Nick Locarno, and they changed it.
Oh, that's what I thought, right? Because they wouldn't want to pay. I don't remember who did it, but you know what I mean. They wouldn't want to pay him all the time if that was his name. So because his storyline was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's exactly the same story.
Yeah.
Tim Gagno says he has half the 3D Trekker bridge. I'd love to know, how does it, when you plug it in and lights up and all that, how is it? And does it have sound effects? Because I would put sound effects in.
Well, from what I saw, what he was doing, right? It did light up and have like effects, right? I mean,
yeah. But I would build, like, if you built that table, I would build speakers into it, because I have Star Trek sound effects and just have the bridge sound effects running.
Dude, just have it humming in the background all the time.
And what would really be cool is if you could get a small LCD screen or something, or an OLED, and put it in to the bridge and just have a running, like, an hour-long loop of bridge imagery.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Pink suit lady looks badass. That is 7 of 9. That is Jerry Ryan,
Pink
my friend.
Suit lady.
Yeah, from my photo. 7 of 9, man. Jerry Ryan. Some obviously some folks here are not Star Trek fans. A lot of you are. Some are new to it. Some need to go watch it.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm really surprised at how few, and I understand, I totally get it, how EXO-6 has almost been virtually ignored by the larger action figure collecting community. It's only a Star Trek fan thing, which I get. I understand.
Yeah. But it is a shame. It is a shame. I talk about that a lot. You know that. It's just, we are Trekkies, man, always have been. So it's weird, like, when we're in a 6-scale world, a lot of people are just, oh, there's Star Wars, there's Marvel, there's DC, and that's kind of like anything else seemingly is outside their wheelhouse.
Well, yeah. I mean, it bums me out when Hot Toys hasn't made, like, I like their off-brand stuff. I love, like we talked about, Mondo doing the Thing and They Live action figures.
I can't wait. I mean, especially me, because I love everything 80s, 90s, all those one-offs.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but it's interesting though, because someone like you, myself, if it's Star Trek, we just want it.
Yeah, well, when it's really, really good.
Well, yeah. Well, it's gotta be good.
Because we've put up, yeah, Dockinator's right. EXO-6 is a godsend. We had 12, 13-inch figures, like Mego made Star Trek the Motion Picture figures, which I loved as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't that good.
No.
but they were all we had. The outfit actually on Admiral Kirk was great, but that plastic they use, it all turned gray and stuff. So
Yeah. And then afterward, you know, I mean, they were smaller, but as we mentioned earlier, we had all the Playmates.
well, yeah, the Playmate stuff was great.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I had.
Yeah, I mean, and those Playmates figures, that I think Playmates, I mean, they weren't, I know they were stylized versions of every character, but they made so many characters, and the play sets, the bridge stuff they made, the ships they made, they did a fantastic job with the Star Trek franchise. And that's why it was so disappointing to see what they did with Star Trek 09. Like the Kirk, those figures were terrible.
Dude. But
Not that I would want them anyway.
I was gonna say,
terrible.
like, do you like even want them anyway?
Well, I did get them. You know, I pre-ordered them at first before I'd seen the movie, really. And you know, even the old Spock was Leonard Nimoy, but even that was not a great figure. But you know, Nanjin put up that picture yesterday of all these different characters. Did you see that?
I did.
And he circled the ones that were either done or were going to be done. And there was some JJ Trek, there was some Kelvin Timeline figures in that.
Yeah. So assuming those happen,
I won't buy them. But
so
whatever.
that's just a definite pass, regardless.
Well, I don't particularly like the Kelvin, Timeline, and I don't like the costumes. I don't like the weapons. The flipping phasers was so stupid, and there's nothing about those figures that I would make me want to buy them, especially because it's Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, and they're not real Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Right, you're like, not my Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zachary Quinto's hair looks stupid. You know, it doesn't fit him.
Right.
And yeah, I mean,
I can see that.
I
can
feel
see
terrible.
That.
I mean, I would rather, and the problem is the Kelvin Timeline is an alternate timeline anyway. So,
yeah, you're right about that. I was just interested in seeing, like, if they.
I don't think they're going to sell. I mean, maybe they will, but I don't think action figure collectors, I think by definition, want the most iconic and coolest version of whatever the franchise is they collect.
Oh yeah,
because even like I'll give you an example. I think the Hot Toys die-cast Iron Man figures are some of the greatest toys ever made.
I would agree.
They're amazing. But if you get the Mark 50 or the Mark 85, like the Mark 50 was Infinity War and the 85 was Endgame, right? The 85 is way cooler than the 50. And I have both. And I regret getting the 50. I'm like, it's fine. But I think the 85 is better.
You want the, no, I get that. But you gotta remember too, I mean, like, those JJ films were kind of popular in Asia. Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah, a little bit with the females.
Maybe. I still don't think anyone, because you're still buying Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, but not real Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Yeah, but some just want Zachary Quinto or Chris Pine, you know.
That's true.
So,
what'll be really interesting to see is if they sell.
Yeah.
Kind of the same people that wanted Saru and Burnham.
Discovery fans, they're out there. I think they're out there.
Are they?
I don't know. No. Yeah, I don't know.
Are they buying action figures though?
That's a good question. That is a good question. And I don't have, I'm not educated enough to answer that question. So
all I know is you can still buy those figures.
That is also true. Blair Dad, though, celebrating 15 months channel membership. Thank you so much. Because we tend to be considered a niche. It's annoying. Yes, as far as being Star Trek fans, it is. It's very, you know.
It is. And I've been saying that on my channel. Star Trek has always been niche.
Yeah, but isn't that weird? Because you got all these people, ourselves included, you know, who are Star Wars fans. Yet, like, nobody in Star Wars, very few also watch Star Trek.
Look, I would go, you don't even have to look any further than look up any interview with J.J. Abrams when he was out promoting Star Trek 09. J.J. Abrams, like, I love Star Wars. I never liked Star Trek because it was too smart, too philosophical, I didn't get into it. And that's the difference. I mean, Star Wars is a space fantasy that appeals to the child in everyone.
Right.
And even when it came out, everybody loved Star Wars. Young, old, it didn't matter. Star Trek was always niche. It always, even when it was on TV, it was always struggling in the ratings. It only captured the minds of people that had, that were really, I think, interested in things like science and philosophy and technology, and it was much more. Star Trek is way more geeky than Star Wars.
Oh,
Star Wars is
sure.
cool.
Yeah, but Star Wars wasn't always cool.
It was always cool. Come on. I was there, man, when the first weekend. Look, I'll give you this. If I went to a high school party when I was in high school, you would see a captain of a football team wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, like a Darth Vader shirt, and nobody would bat an eye. I walk into that same party with Kirk and Spock on my shirt, I get laughed at.
Okay.
I mean, and I love both.
Oh no, so do I.
But I'm just not. And now even Star Trek is cooler now, but it's cooler in that kind of retro funny way. Like William Shatner, no one looks at William Shatner and goes, "Oh my God, he's so cool." People look at Darth Vader and go, "He's badass." Shatner is a funny figure now. We don't. I take him very seriously, but he's funny.
Sure. Oh yeah, he is. But I mean, because I remember growing up too.
Bob Dylan, you're smart enough. Aren't you like a doctor or something? Come on.
I've been telling Bob to watch Star Trek forever, but he just,
Well, you can watch one of my upcoming videos, my 10 and 20 segments.
Yeah. So what's that about?
So I'm doing these new 20-minute videos, 10 in 20. So people are always asking me, "Oh, Rob, Star Trek is so daunting. I just don't know where to start watching it." And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these 20-minute videos, which are lists of 10 things. I'm going to start with classic Star Trek and go, okay, here's 10 episodes of Star Trek that you should watch. Not necessarily the 10 best, but 10 essential episodes that you should watch to understand the entire franchise. So it leaves you, it's not a definitive list. It's just a 10 episode list for each season that says, okay, if you watch this, you will have a pop culture and an understanding what Star Trek is. So you'll never be lost. There's other great episodes to find, but I'm not giving you a definitive list. This is just a beginning, and you can choose, you can use it. It's like Cliff's Notes. If you watch these 10 episodes, you'll get it. You'll be good. But if you want to find other episodes that are great, you can delve into that too. You can look up BuzzFeed's top 10 Star Trek episodes or whatever. But I want it because people are always asking me, not necessarily diehard fans, but people that who've never, they're like 30 years old. They never watched classic Star Trek growing up. So they're always asking me, so Rob, what can I watch to get it? So I'm doing these 10 and 20s. It's RMB's 10, meaning 10 episodes in 20 minutes, or 10 book, like, what are my 10 favorite Stephen King novels? What are my 10 favorite 80s synth pop records?
So you'll go beyond Trek.
Oh yeah, Star Trek is just the thing I'm going to start with. So people, because it's only because people keep asking me, like,
no, listen, I'm with you. I've got people asking me all the time, same thing. Like, well, how do I, and I'm like, I had a conversation this morning about it. I was like, well, if you get a Next Generation, there's 176 episodes, and you want to get into Deep Space Nine, that's another 176, 78. And Voyager's
72 because of writer's strike.
Oh yeah.
But also here's the thing, like in the first season of the original series, you meet the Romulans for the first time. You meet the Klingons for the first time. You meet Khan for the first time. So spoiler alert, those 3 episodes are part of my list of what you should watch, because Khan becomes such an important part of Star Trek lore, even all the way up to Strange New Worlds, even though it's stupid what they've done with La'an Singh being a descendant of Khan's, which makes no sense, but whatever, I'll get into that. And so I'm also doing an upcoming video called Star Trek Has a Khan Problem, but that's specifically to Khan. But so if you watch this stuff, you'll get an idea of what Star Trek is.
Oh, I think it'll be awesome. I mean, if you should do, like you said, all the way up to Strange New. Why? So you can do Discovery too?
Oh, fuck no. No.
I wasn't sure. I had to
No,
ask.
because I'll let people figure that out on their own.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do on the only thing that I try and be positive, about everything.
Sure.
And there's a lot to be positive about. We're getting great action figures. We're getting great model kits. We're getting all kinds of cool. I'm getting all kinds of cool comic omnibuses. I was just rearranging my X-Men omnibuses the other day and putting them all in order.
So many. So many.
And so we're getting a lot of cool stuff. The only thing that really bums me out is the state of modern Star Trek, because as they have since 2009, they're going back and rewriting classic Star Trek. We had, even though the Kelvin movies, it's like, oh, let's go tell the story of young Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And, oh, let's go tell the story of everything that happened before Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And that was not what happened for 25 seasons from 1987 to 2005. No. They tried to move Star Trek further and add to it. And now, and I think that is a picture of Frederick Douglass on my mic. Good eye. He's one of my favorite American statesmen. And it's funny, and orators. I mean, Frederick Douglass is one of the greatest speech writers in American history. Former slave, became an American statesman. He's kind of a hero of mine. And it's funny, somebody sent me a packet of like stickers that had like Einstein in it, this style of sticker.
Oh,
and because I use this mic was specifically given to me to talk on YouTube, I'm like, I'm going to put Frederick Douglass on this mic to remind myself of a responsibility of being a good speaker.
You are an excellent speaker. That's awesome.
And it's very funny because I put this on my microphone like before George Floyd and before Black Lives Matter or anything like that.
You've had it forever.
Some people thought that I was bandwagoning it, and come on, man. Some people don't. I won't say who, but there's people that are surprised that don't know who this is, who should know, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you should know who this is.
Right. I agree. I agree.
And it's funny. I was working on a project a while ago. We couldn't get it off the ground, but it was like when Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer was coming around.
Oh,
my friend Derek Hughes and I. Derek Hughes is a pretty big TV writer and a producer. We were thinking, like, what historical figure would we want to make a movie about? And we both came up with Frederick Douglass, and we were going to do a thing, Frederick Douglass, American slave, American zombie hunter. And we came up with this idea that we wanted to do like John Henry, Harriet Tubman, and like all these figures and the plot was because the real Frederick Douglass sent his sons into the North, and they joined, like in the movie Glory, they joined the Union Army. So our idea was that the South, because they knew they were going to lose, that they sent a garrison to Haiti to steal the power of resurrecting the dead, zombie power, Haitian magic. And so Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and their collaborators were running an underground railroad, and the zombies started coming to life in the South, and they had to get this group of people out of former slaves and escaped slaves out of the South before the zombie hordes took over. Dude. And we did Isaiah Mustafa and Phil Lamar was going to play Frederick Douglass, and we did a whole photo shoot with Yuri Lowenthal playing a Confederate zombie. It was great. The pictures are great. And so Phil Lamar was going to be Frederick Douglass. Like, if we got the movie off the ground, he would have been Frederick Douglass.
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
I know. I thought it would be great. It would have been great.
Gosh. All right.
Yeah, but it never happened.
Well, I got a couple memberships real quick. Andreas, thank you so much for the 15 months continued channel memberships. That's very cool, Rob. I will definitely check that out. The 10s, the Star Trek ones we were talking about here earlier.
Oh yeah, 10 R&B is 10 and 20.
10 and 20, dude. It's gonna be awesome. An OG fan celebrating a year. My man, thank you so much, dude. Shatner is the coolest cat gallivanting around this galaxy or any other. It's Kessler's baby, smooth as silk.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's up there.
92, man.
I know. I'm gonna So is Clint Eastwood, right? He's 90.
Yep. I think he turned 93.
Yeah. It's crazy. FBJ also in the house. What's up, my man? I'm telling the truth. I have to educate my kids on Black history. A lot of people don't know. Nowadays, they don't teach it in school. They don't?
No. You know, as a matter of fact, you know, I was watching an interesting reaction video. A Black YouTuber was watching a video that was made by a Marine, an ex-Marine, and it was all about the Barbary Coast slave trade. The Barbary Coast around like the Barbary Coast of Africa and Spain and all that, and how that they're slavers. It wasn't just Black Africans that were enslaved. The Barbary Coast slave traders went up as far as Iceland and enslaved Icelandic people. I mean, they were stealing women. The slave trade affected everyone.
Yeah.
And the way we couch it in the United States, because we don't know our history anymore, we just make it seem like it was just the Black African transatlantic slave trade, when it was much bigger than that. Because people have been enslaved there's people are enslaved now. Yeah, I mean, there's sex trafficking now. Look at Jim Caviezel's new movie that outgrossed Dial of Destiny. It's all about modern day sex trafficking.
Yeah.
But yeah, people know so little of real history. It's really depressing.
It is. Brother Cousins.
Yeah, people don't know who Frederick Douglass is.
I know.
The thing is, when you read about Frederick Douglass, it's such an incredible American story, and to see where he was and where he became, I mean, he's a really as far as an American success story or an American, he's pretty amazing. And when you read his actual speeches, they're really incredible. I mean, he really was. And when you think about what he endured, I mean, he was a slave, but how he became educated and became a great American statesman. He's truly one of my favorite American. I wouldn't necessarily call him a folk hero, but in terms of Americans, call them Americans of the post-slave era, and post-slave era, because our slave era is 400 years long. But I mean, he had so much to do with changing America at that time.
I'm just still trying to wrap my head around the fact they're not teaching any of this in school.
Oh, I'm blown away too.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but it's also like,
well, it's also, I mean, when the sad part about it is history is so interesting, and I think that there's a lot of the anger and a lot of what goes on in our country today is because, you know, you watch those videos where people are asking kids, do you know where this is in Europe or something, and people don't have any clue. I mean, one of the things that I think that, I mean, this is totally off topic from action figures.
That's okay.
But having knowledge, having just a wide base of basic knowledge, helps you appreciate the world you live in, the neighborhood you live in, the country you live in. And people don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why, for all of its faults, and there are many, the United States is still one of the greatest countries, and our democracy is still one of the greatest forms of government that's ever been
100%.
created.
100%.
And that's what I think. I like when I was growing up, I knew people that were both parents that were Republicans and Democrats, and nobody was mad at each other.
No.
You know, there was no, and I don't even think people understand what the basic differences between the parties have been, or that people would be surprised to know that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. It was the Democrats that wanted the slave trade to continue.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's like, that's the point, like being worldly, right? Like knowing, like I've always been World War II buff, man, since I was a kid, right?
Oh,
to
yeah.
my grandfather, and practically teach it, you know, if I really wanted to go down that path, right? And I talk to people a lot, and they don't even know like the years, what caused it, I'm not kidding, dude.
I know, dude. I can't, like, when it blows me away.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I mean, I went to public school.
So did
you
I.
know, and we had a great broad base of knowledge, you know, and the funny thing was, because and then it would follow, like when Star Wars came out, all the Nazi imagery, the Empire was clearly, I mean, the fact that stormtroopers,
it's the Wehrmacht, man. It was the German forces.
It was all of that, and like people don't even know that anymore. I mean, even the uniforms and everything are so. I mean, Grand Moff Tarkin might as well come right out of your favorite Nazi World War II movie, Nazi film.
Yeah.
You know, but nobody knew. But then again, when we were kids, when I was a kid especially, we were far closer to the end of World War II than we certainly are now. I mean, when I grew up, I met lots of people that were concentration camp survivors. My dad was a World War II veteran.
My grandfather.
Yeah, and so it's wild. And to know about that, it always adds to your and it's funny when people are like, I don't like to get political. Well, Star Wars is literally a franchise about a rebellion against an oppressive government. Star Wars is politics. Captain America the Winter Soldier, that movie is all about politics.
Oh yeah, about
one of the Sokovia Accords. In Civil War, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers have a political difference. Should we? And Tony Stark's like, look, I think we should register superheroes with the government.
Right.
And Steve Rogers like, F that.
Yeah, no.
No. We have to have total autonomy.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, Tony Stark is being a Republican. He's being for big government right there. Or I mean, Republicans want small government, but less government control. Or I guess so. Maybe. Pardon me. I'm flipping the script. It's Tony Stark who says, no, we should sign up and be, good. And Captain America's like, no. It should be the opposite. You think Captain America would be like, well, of course you should sign up. We should all no.
I think with Captain America, it's more like he's valuing that personal liberty and freedom, right?
Which is a basic tenet of the Republicans. Personal freedom, personal responsibility.
Yeah.
The sovereignty of the individual, all that. And
it's all politics in these movies. And I know a lot of people don't, or perhaps, to your point, if you have studied history and were taught a bunch of things and you consume this type of content, you look at it differently, or you might appreciate it differently versus not knowing anything about what's happened before.
Yeah. I mean, but learning about all different rebellions against authoritarian regimes. And what Lucas, they were going to go shoot Apocalypse Now in Vietnam during the war.
Yeah.
And George Lucas was going to direct it. That's crazy.
I don't know if they would have made it through that. That would have been crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That would have been, dude. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know why people aren't learning. I don't know if it's a thing in school.
But I also think that the more you learn, the more you appreciate, especially storytelling.
Yes.
You understand where all this stuff is coming from.
Yeah.
And I agree with the OG fan. Captain America believes in true freedom.
Yeah.
And the thing is also a responsibility to being a citizen. If you're part of the United States, I believe you have an obligation to be a citizen, a good citizen. Part of being an American is to participate in the political process, to vote.
Yeah.
Go out and not just vote in the presidential elections, but vote in your local elections. Vote in I live in a small town, relatively small town, and it's like vote in that town. Find out who's running. Because you know what? It's also fun. It's fun to learn about these things, and it's fun to learn how our government works. It's also incredibly frustrating to watch how our government doesn't work.
That's the truth.
But one of the things about Star Trek that I always loved about Star Trek, and to a certain extent, Star Trek showed a functioning like Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets in the 23rd century. They were a functioning post-scarcity. We were a utopian. We'd surmounted all our differences, and we were a utopian civilization, and that's why we were out in the universe. Originally we were bringing Star Trek is really about bringing American democracy to the universe, but not really, even though it is. But and that's why Star Trek did not play well foreign for a long time.
No,
Star Trek isn't well known in Asian markets. It's in Germany it was popular, in the UK it was popular, because basically a lot of people looked at Star Trek as, America is bringing Americanism to the universe. So a lot of people didn't dig Star Trek, especially in the 60s, foreign
Oh
countries.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because of that, because of those exact reasons. PBS has nothing on the Street of Text Pub. That's funny. Well, it's true. It's things are changing, and that's a whole that could be topic for it's a whole discussion, man. Yeah.
Well, the
Because
more it's like, that old adage, the more you know.
it's true. It
The
is.
more you know, the world is a much more exciting place.
I believe so.
I think people walk around now in this fog of not knowing anything, or they only think they know like the very basics, and that's it.
Well, whatever quips are put out online,
Yeah.
these little blurbs of headliners and nothing. They're like in the now and never in the past, never learning anything. I could really get into that too, man. But because I don't understand like why everything, whether it's television shows, books, whatever you can think of, statues, for better or worse, whatever it is, they're just trying to remove.
Well, because
everything.
because an undereducated population is easy to control.
Yeah.
You put out one meme on Facebook and you got people tearing each other down, ripping each other's hair out because they have no nuance or understanding of what's really going on. And it shows, groups like QAnon and all that are so easily can come to power. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but in America, I blame our public school system. Because like everything else, everybody wants, I understand profit, but it's like, okay, profit isn't the only thing. Here's what I've always thought.
Mhm.
It is great in terms of our first line of defense as a country, more than weapons, nuclear weapons, arms, conventional weapons, is a healthy and well-educated population.
That's dangerous. Free thinkers are dangerous.
Well, but they also understand why things are important. They also understand how to have learned, reasoned debate with one another. They also understand why we should respect one another and how our differences. You get 10 different people together to work on a task. All 10 of those people probably have something to offer that the other 9 don't.
Right.
So to understand, like when you get a group of people together, to say, okay, our differences are what make us stronger as a group. And and that is something I think that anybody, and nobody wants, it's that becomes more expensive. The smarter you are, the more valuable you are as a person, which means you're going to cost more.
Yes. And always know your worth.
Yeah.
Always know your worth for that exact reason. But that's true. I mean,
and we learned that in The Dark Knight because the Joker told us, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
You're right. No, but that's absolutely true. Like you can have 10 different, like if you just use that example, 10 different people, there's at least 10 of us that all know each other, and we all come from different life experiences, and we have all different traits and talents, or disadvantages even, in certain situations. Maybe I'm not that good at this and you're like really good at this, but I got an idea for that. And then everybody, that's what, I don't get it.
Yeah, and the thing, the more you know, you never know what you're going to find yourself being interested in. The more you learn, you might stumble across some crazy bit of something that boils your noodle, and you're like, I want to find out more about that, and you would have had no idea.
Yeah.
One of the things that's why the more money we spend on education, which we're not doing, because there's no direct profit. How much money do we spend? Well, what are we getting back? Well, what you get it back tenfold on the back end when your strong, intelligent, healthy population grows up to be innovators and free thinkers, and they understand like they might run across something and innovate. I mean, the problem is now our lack of education is leading to Americans are getting our asses kicked, and we're going to get our asses kicked in a big way by other companies that have drained, or other countries that have drained our information, because, growing up in our social media addled world, people aren't learning. Where are the new people? Where are the 18 and 19-year-olds that are brilliant, that are going to write code and in our AI world innovate? Where are those?
We're all giving away data on TikTok and not learning. And
all these brilliant kids that are doing all this cool shit, like making stuff, and they're giving it away to our foreign competitors.
Oh yeah, everything. It's but it's to your point, you know, it's that if the money's not into the education, the population's easier to control.
Oh yeah,
keep them, you know, where they were. But Randall Perry, that's very fascinating. The Star Trek original series was telecast in the middle of the Cold War, and every Friday at noon, the Cold War drill siren was tested while we were in school.
And that was another thing about Star Trek, was it said that we are going to get past this.
Yeah.
You know, the Cold War, nuclear annihilation was an everyday threat, and you know, it was crazy.
Yeah, Matt, let me know. Maybe I missed maybe I might have missed something there, but dude, that's the point though with Trek 2, to bring it back. It already, like, for me growing up watching Trek, it was always like Trek didn't make you, the audience, feel dumb or have to really explain things to you. It was that you had already assumed that we were beyond such things as a society, as, you know, as a human race. So it never had to be like ham-fisted. Like it touched on a lot of social commentary and allegories, but it was never like the audience would know, oh yeah, you're right. You know, without, you're teaching without preaching, I guess. Oh, that's a good slogan.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's funny. Bob, the P-Hub has expanded my mind well beyond the event horizon. Things that can never be unseen.
But that's, I mean, you know, we had to work for that shit. Now you can say anything you want pornographically at the touch of a button. We had to go out into the woods and find the Playboys that were stashed out there.
Yep.
There's a stash of Playboys in the woods. And the thing was, there actually was stashed Playboys in the woods that we actually went and found. That was a true story. That is not an old wives' tale.
No, it's not. Or some weird other places you find things. It's just, it was a struggle.
It's true. We had to work, man. We had to work for it all.
It did.
And our licensed toys sucked.
Oh gosh, yeah. I think we got it. I think we got it really good right now, dude. I think we got it really good. It irritates me when I hear a bunch of people, and I know everybody's got their opinions in the matters, but you know, when we're in figure land, when we're in 6 scale, I mean, like, dude, almost everything I think is awesome. In comparison, you know, it's not to say, well, like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know, it's just that what we had, they were crappy, man. That's what we had. We used our imagination. We were kids. We were like, well, this is what we got. This is my, you know, little stick figure. Like, this is Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? And so everything we have now, I'm like, I'm impressed by everything.
Oh yeah, dude, we're getting the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting everything we want. I love it. I'm just closer to death than I've ever been.
Aren't we all every day?
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. But you know what? I got to tell you, I mean, whether you like it or not, the fact that you can get an action figure like this today.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Bro. Come on. Look, this is a canonical comic figure, and he comes with Red Wing up there. This is an incredibly well-engineered figure. I love this figure so much. I think he looks great. I love the wings. You know, people, hey, he's not really Captain America. He's not a super soldier. Yeah, he is. Come on, that was even in the comics.
It was.
I love Sam Wilson. I love Anthony Mackie, and that is one well-engineered figure, and I love it. Dude. It's got great shelf presence.
I know I never picked him up, but I've been really, really selective with MCU.
Yeah, well, I just love that figure. I mean, I thought it was really cool. By the way, somebody says, my question for Rob was, what would it cost for DS9 to go to Blu-ray? About $20 million.
Yeah.
And I'm not being facetious. So there's 172 episodes of Deep Space Nine. Really 170 if you include Emissary, which was split into 2 parts, and then What You Leave Behind, which is split into 2 parts.
Way of the Warrior
for syndication. Yeah, and that's right. Way of the Warrior split too. So here's the reason. You can't use deep learning AI to upscale NTSC. But what you need to do, like they did with Next Generation, is you have to go back to the negative and you have to rescan it and take it all the way through post, like they did with TNG. And it costs a lot more because there's a lot of computer effects that have to either be recreated if they had the original files, like Mojo did with the Deep Space Nine documentary, and it takes a long time. And the DS9 footage is not as well cataloged as the TNG footage was. So TNG took 4 years, a team of 30 people working for 4 years to get all 178 episodes in 2K. And it's incredibly laborious, it's labor intensive, and we're not there yet with, you got to go back to the original negative.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. And I know you've seen some of this. I know when they did the What We Left Behind documentary, they did a little bit of work on that. And
yeah, but Mojo did that, and he had the original, like the space battle from the Dies Cast. No, was it Die? No, it was Sacrifice of Angels.
Yeah.
So the Sacrifice of Angels, he had the original. He went back to the actual original CG files, up-res them, and then redid the effects, added more explosions, and made it for HD. And it was a test that he did.
Yeah.
And he won an Emmy for Voyager. And so that's why the Sacrifice of Angels, like that's here's a CG
Look at
shot.
that. I mean, dude, that's
but he had to redo that stuff and up-res it all. And so this is all CG battle stuff that has to be recreated. And if they don't have the original files, that would all have to be re-rendered and created from scratch.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. Because Deep Space Nine is one of my favorites. It's like Babylon 5, same thing. Like they
I love it.
No.
And that's another problem. I mean, this is all Mojo doing all this work. He did all that work, and he had the original files to work off of. But this is amazing stuff. But it would take a long time. And the thing is, would they do it now? Because remember, 4K is about 4 times better than HD, and HT is 6 times better than standard def.
Yeah.
So, and when you're re-rendering it, it's just you have to deal with all that. It's a pain in the ass.
I know. I mean, they did it for TNG, but I mean, I don't think they'll do it. I want them to. I'll do that and do Voyager,
and Voyager's even more problematic because it has more CG.
Yeah. Oh yeah, got it. And then the species 8472 and all this other stuff, and everything was way more because they were still using models for the most part on DS9.
Yeah, there's only one in the entirety of DS9. There's only one CG shot of the station, only one, and that's the last shot of the final episode when they pull away
they
from
pan
the
out
station.
of the camera.
That's the only CG shot. They always use that big model.
Yeah. Damn. Peter, dude, what is going on, my man? Thank you again for coming on last week. We were just talking about you guys over at Mondo. That was super fun. Having you on. Rob said you did receive your figure.
I did. You know, some people say they're going to send you shit and they don't. So I was pleasantly surprised when they got a big. And of course, Elizabeth's like, okay, what is this thing from Mondo? I haven't seen a box come from Mondo before. And I'm like, hold your horses. It was a gift. She's like, you say that about everything you get. And I'm like, well, that's true, baby. But this really was.
Yeah, but you could have actually said that with, like, you know what I mean? Some confidence. You're like, hey, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
See this email? I don't know why I'm holding it up like a paper, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just
I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, that is so awesome, dude. Yeah, what is up, Peter, man? Shout out to you guys again. Guys, go check out Mondo Toys if you have not already, dude.
No.
Seriously.
And, well, then I had to explain I was explaining to Elizabeth. I was trying to explain to her the difference. She goes, you just bought that collection of X-Men 6 scale figures. And I go, well, yeah, but I kind of want to get these X-Men animated figures now. And the only thing, because she likes action figures too, when I showed her the Jubilee blowing the bubble, because I want to get that, you know, the Jubilee is great. She goes, oh, I want that. I'm like, you can't have it. She goes, you should get that for me and give it to me. And I'm like, no. But now I have to track down all of those Mondo X-Men figures.
I want them too. I don't know, Peter, if you're still here, my man. He is. I know. I'd love to do. Yeah, I do.
I was going to send you an email because it came yesterday. Yesterday, day
Oh, was
before
it yesterday? Okay. Okay. Cool.
It came and I didn't even know it was here because sometimes I don't even go down to our front door. We have like 3 front doors. It's kind of weird. So I don't go down to where the mail gets delivered. And I'm like, wait, how long has this been here? So, and it came in great shape.
And sometimes when I mail you stuff, that's why I'm always like, hey, just want to make sure it gets there because I have no, you know what I mean? I don't know either. Sometimes I'm like, people are gone. You say you have multiple doors. You don't even know if stuff's there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. By the way, somebody asked Andreas IB or IB 1B. Rob, did you send Jay your bank robber Joker? No, but it's right here. And it's going to him. It's very funny because I haven't even opened up my InArts Joker yet.
Oh, really?
Because the box is so intimidating. I don't even want to open it. It's I haven't even taken off the shrink wrap. It's huge. It's just
still don't have mine.
Oh, it's well, it's funny because I got a place I'm gonna put the diorama where he's sitting in jail over here.
Oh yeah. You got a spot for it. That would be really
I got
cool,
a spot.
man.
I got a spot for that part. Yeah. So, but yes, Jay, Brother Cousins is gonna get his Grail disc.
I don't know, Jay. Are you still here? You're hearing it again live from Rob.
There you go.
No, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome.
But yeah, those X-Men and those Mondo X-Men
dude, it's
figures.
killer. It's killer.
And I spent, I went and guested on John Campia's show yesterday, and I had I swear to God, a 45-minute conversation about the Mondo Skeletor and how Ray he couldn't stop talking about how he's so angry that he didn't buy it. And I'm like, well, you should have.
I wanted to get Skeletor too, man, but dude, it's been a rough month. That's a real deal, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's a rough, but that figure is. I mean, that Skeletor, that Mondo Skeletor, even if you don't collect He-Man, it's one of those iconic pieces that even if you just had it, people would love the fact that you had it. Even more so than having He-Man. Skeletor's the shit.
I agree. I really wanted to. Yeah. Sold out. Yeah. And I know I had time to do it, but I just couldn't, man. Like I said, it's been a rough month. But you're right, because I wouldn't really collect a lot of Masters, but come on, dude. Look at all that, dude.
I know. Well, come on.
Over there.
Look at that. I mean, that's an amazing figure.
Yeah, because I would just throw him in the 80s shelf and just be like, all right, I have a Skeletor. You know who he is.
Yeah. And theoretically, Skeletor could preside over the multiverse of your figures.
Oh. Well, now you make me regret it more.
It's not just the people that live in Eternia. It's everybody. It's
everybody.
Who controls the multiverse? Skeletor.
Look at that. That's what I would do. I wanted the cape. I wanted the robe. Even the battle armor, that like it would flip from the old figure, the battle armor skeleton. I mean, that is such a brilliantly. Well, it was apparent to me when we were talking to all the guys, the 2 guys with Alex. Yep, Alex and Peter.
Alex and Peter, like Peter was saying, you'd fit right in if you came to one of our Friday. I mean, the people at Mondo know, like they're believers. They understand. They're like us.
Yes.
So when you see what's so great about seeing that Skeletor is you understand that the people that made it completely understood exactly what it was that they were making and who was buying it, why they were buying it, and what they would think was cool.
Oh, dude, that's exactly what I feel like you guys, if you're still here, like what you guys have been doing, like every figure, you're like, they understand it, like you said.
There's a term, I've used this term before, but if you read Robert Heinlein's 60s science fiction novel, Stranger in a Strange Land, there's this concept of grok, G-R-O-K. To grok something is to understand it holistically, to understand it from all different elements. And that the guys, I used to have a button I wore in junior high school that said, I grok Spock. No one knows that anymore because no one reads. But when I was growing up and you went to a science fiction convention, everyone used the term grok. I totally grok that, man. Grok should be coming back. But the people at Mondo have, whether it's their vinyl, whether it's their posters, the toys they're making, they grok the collectible markets that they're in.
Bring it back. Bring it back, Rob. Just
well, it sounds kind of weird. Grok. It's a weird word.
Yeah,
what are you saying? Gronk? Are you talking about Gronkowski? You know, no,
right.
not Gronk. Grok. You know, people wouldn't get it. But everyone, because everyone in the 60s had read, in the 70s had read Stranger in a Strange Land. Like, you couldn't go to a science fiction convention and not everybody knew what the word grok meant. Nowadays, no one knows what it means because no one's read Robert Heinlein anymore.
No.
And again,
anything anymore.
That's not a slam on you know, I don't mean to slam on it, but back when I was a kid, there was a lot there science fiction movies, there weren't very many of them that were good. So if you were a science fiction fan, you were first and foremost a literary fan. You weren't so much a media fan because there wasn't a lot of great science fiction media. You could count the great science fiction movies on two hands. And that changed after Star Wars.
Always comes back to Star Wars, doesn't it? And now it does. Kind of, I don't know. Today they've been losing me. They've been losing me, man.
It's true.
Yeah. Hopefully they get better.
But Mondo, man, they grok those figures they're making. That's why you get like 3 heads for Jubilee, including one when she's blowing a bubble.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I love it. I need all the X-Men. So I have Wolverine. And I was like, you know what?
Well, that's the thing I got to get. Well, because they're so cool.
Yeah. And, you know, listen, I get it. Like, they're different than, you know, lifelike things that we normally have.
Yeah.
So it can kind of be a little bit of a deterrent to some people, you know, in their collection. But like when I'm like kicked back, I'm not, and that's not to take away from being up close, but you know how it goes. When you're at a distance, you're chilling, watching whatever, you look over, you're like, wow, dude, it looks like it just pops. Like it's just so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally.
Yeah. Chillin says, hey Mafia, did you hear about Daredevil's stuntman speaking out against Disney, saying it's refusing to include everything that made fans love the show? I have not.
I haven't either. Hey, what did you think of the 3rd episode of Secret Invasion?
I haven't watched part 3 yet.
Oh, okay.
How are you feeling without really getting into it? Is it
I'm enjoying the show.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. But it makes sense to me that like Daredevil is not the, I can't imagine, although I think it's a mistake because the Daredevil show on Netflix leaned into the Daredevil comic, and if they're trying to change that,
I was afraid, man. I didn't like She-Hulk.
Oh, dude, no.
Spoiler alert, just didn't. But and then seeing Daredevil in it, and I was like, oh no. It bothered me.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that on that but that's my point. So I'm worried. And then you got Jon Bernthal saying, you know, he's coming back as Punisher, but he's usually pretty much like, I don't want to do this if it's not how it should be. So I'm wondering, I don't know how a Punisher is going to work on Disney. I hope they don't, you know, because they have the Netflix shows on there too, right? They have like their mature section on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they do.
So there's hope.
But I mean, the thing about Daredevil is he's a pretty hardcore character. It's not like he's very light and lively.
No, I know. So, and maybe they toned him like that just because of the She-Hulk show.
Yeah.
And then if his show comes out and it's mature and it's supposed to be like season 4, I don't know. Are we old and curmudgeoned and just jaded? I don't. It's rough.
No, because I think we just want things that are good.
I would agree with that.
I mean, a good story is a good story.
Yeah. And I loved all of Daredevil and Punisher.
Yeah, Daredevil kicked ass.
Yeah.
You know, and the portrayal of it, the tone of it. You know, hell, I'm an apologist for the director's version of the Ben Affleck Daredevil. I think one of the only problems with that movie is the fact that you don't believe it because so much of it's got CG backgrounds and CG rats and you're on sets, you don't feel it. They should have shot that on the streets of New York, and it would have been a much better movie.
Oh, I'd agree.
But I think the Daredevil movie's got a lot of fun. Barrel is Bullseye. There's some cool shit.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it, but it's a little wonky, but I agree. But it was during that time too, right, where there was this mesh of weird CG. And,
yeah, it was early on.
Yeah, dude, and that doesn't. Practical effects are always gonna win. I mean, even like some of these movies that are fun, you know, like Expendables and well, I wouldn't say the newer RoboCop, but there's a lot of films like that where, I mean, even all the blood is CG.
Yeah, I hate it.
And you could tell. They're just like pew pew, just pretending to fire, and then they put CG like muzzle flash and blood splurts, and I'm like, come on, who are you fooling? I mean, you're not fooling me. I will say I saw, you know, I never asked you that. I saw that in the theater, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. Did you enjoy that?
I did. I liked it for what it was. I don't think it entirely worked because you were distanced from it. You weren't in it. You were kind of outside watching it, if that makes any sense. You weren't emotionally in, but it's pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember going to the theater to see it. It was quite an experience, at least in the theater. But you're right. Like, it was all blue screen at the time. And like, but I love that style though. You know, that genre right there. Anyway, OG fan though, thank you so much, my man. Celebrating 14 months, dude. Appreciate that, man. All comes back to Star Wars. It's a way of life. If you know, you know. But as I learned later in life, not everyone saw Star Wars opening day. Fortunate one. Yeah, I didn't see its opening day. I know, Rob, you did.
No, I didn't. I saw it the Sunday. I couldn't get in opening day. So it opened on a Wednesday, and then I saw it that Sunday.
That's okay. 4 days. I mean, you still saw it.
Yeah, I tried to get in on Saturday, but the line was too huge.
Oof. All right. Well, guys, we'll feel about wrapping.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. Yeah, guys, no, it was super fun, guys. Anyway, if you guys are still with us or just joining or watching on the replay, links are in the description below. Go to EXO-6.
I love that we did a stream about EXO-6 releasing data, and we talked about Frederick Douglass education.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. I feel like, wow, what a cool stream.
Well, this is what we do, right? We always have something, and then we're like, well, wait a minute. We're going to go here. So, but hey, no, I appreciate everybody sticking around for it. Of course, man, I'm looking forward to everybody's excitement for the figure. Rob as well. Always good conversations. What else is going on with you? Do you have anything upcoming?
No, just doing more videos and stuff and more shows. And obviously the channel's been growing, which has been great. People, I've really been happy with everybody that's come to the channel. We've had some great discussions, great shows. Doing more analysis. I think I'm going to do a show today. I was like, I wasn't going to do a show today, but I was talking to a friend of mine earlier about Khan, and I'm like, do these people even watch Space Seed? Because I think that the character of Khan has been completely misunderstood in modern Star Trek, certainly in Into Darkness. Because Khan, as Kirk says, he admired Khan Noonien Singh. Because Khan was one of Kirk even says he was the best of the tyrants, and they talk about like nobody was murdered under his watch, you know, and Spock's like, but he was a tyrant, and they're like, you don't understand. We can admire him and disapprove of him at the same time. And I want to talk about how La'an Noonien Singh and all, they can't get away from Khan. Star Trek has a Khan problem, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna do a video on that today.
Because, dude, like, I don't want to get into it, guys, right now, but I will say at least this, as we've talked about this before, that whatever's going on in Star Trek now, it's like they're trying to just, I don't even want to say it's like member berry stuff either. They're just like looking.
They are going back to episodes.
Yeah, they're in a bag. They're in a magic. They're pulling out key word like Khan. Let's work with Khan. People know Khan.
Well, they made a woman be an ancestor of Khan's. Like, why would Khan have an ancestor?
Yeah.
Like, if Khan had a child, wouldn't that child have come with Khan when he fled Earth in 1996? and it's clear what's really frustrating is, and I want to go back and do in Space Seed, people forget. So Khan gets awakened after 300 years. He takes over the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where they're at the decompression chamber, and Khan is trying to convince them, the crew of the Enterprise, to help him, and they're not going to. And they put Kirk in there, and Khan, he does not want to kill anyone. He's like, every one of you is going to go in there, meaning you're all going to die.
Yeah.
Die while the others watch. And they're all looking at him, and Khan's like, but it's so useless. Like, he knows he doesn't want to kill these people.
Right.
He understands their value. And even when he's got like Marla MacGyver's, he's convinced Marla MacGyver's, or he's trying to convince her, you know, he has her on the ground, he's dominating her, and he goes, look, go or stay, but do it because it is what you wish to do. And people forget this about him. He's been turned into some Darth Vader like villain. I mean, clearly, when I watch Into Darkness, I'm like, nobody ever watched Space Seed when they made this episode. They don't understand Khan. And the fact that La'an, Noonien, and Singh, they have mistaken the fact that he was genetically engineered for the fact that they think he's like Dr. Mengele or something. He wasn't doing the genetic engineering. He was a product of controlled genetics.
Yeah, he's the product of it.
And the thing was, as Spock said, all of these genetic Supermen, they forgot, the scientists who made them forgot one thing, that superior ability breeds superior ambition. And throughout Star Trek history, they keep adding to the whole eugenics wars thing, and it's become completely, everyone just thinks it was World War and there were nukes involved. That's not what necessarily happened.
No.
And people forget this. When McCoy goes, the eugenics wars, he's smiling because it was called the eugenics wars, but I don't necessarily think that it was some worldwide nuclear conflagration.
No
one ever says that. So,
well, they don't, these guys also don't, like you said, they don't get it. They don't, you know, they're like, well, let's just bring him back. Let's just bring Khan in here, and like, is this a name?
Well, that's all they know it is from Star Trek 2. Look at Star Trek's greatest villain, but he's not. Star Trek was never here's an important lesson for everybody. Star Trek does not have villains. Star Trek has antagonists.
Yes.
And there's a big difference between them.
Oh yeah.
And like in my first 10 and 20, you'll find out when you first meet the Klingons and you first meet the Romulans, they're not villains, they're antagonists. And there's a big difference, and nobody gets this today.
No, because there's
nobody groks this today.
They don't, right? There's it's cultural conflict, political conflict. Doesn't necessarily make them villains, right? I mean, was Gowron ever a villain?
Yeah, as Randall Perry says, Space Seed left Spock a bit confused when it came to humans admiring tyrants. Yes, because Khan was not a mass murderer, or did he control a regime that was full of mass murderers?
No, he was
say the Nazis
product of what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Anyway, it was fun, Rob.
It was always fun, man.
We'll turn it into a 6-hour show tonight. No, I
know, right?
We could, guys. We totally could. But no, that's awesome. And dude, yeah, your channel's growing, man. I mean, almost 62,000 now. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So come in and join the Burnett work, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, I'll put another link in here. If you guys haven't already gone to Rob, I'm sure you have. But if you're new to Rob, dude,
come on in.
Come on in. You doing
the water's warm.
Was tomorrow you're doing the late show tomorrow night?
We have Midnight Musings tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna do Observations. Another episode of King Tannick's Otaku Experience drops. We have Architects of the Imagination, which is a really cool show. I don't do it, but it's on my channel. DJ David Johnson, who works in the game industry, has his own. He has a special effects company for gaming. So like they create fire and they do atmospherics.
Ooh.
He's been in the industry for 20 years and he interviews all kinds of game developers. And it's a great podcast. I wish more people listen to it. It's fascinating if you like video games.
Oh, who doesn't? Come on, guys. Yeah. And you got a lot of programming coming on. I mean, dude, you're going, full network.
Full network. That's what I'm trying to do.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. It's already growing. It's so cool, guys. So yeah, definitely go check out Rob if you haven't. Brother Cousins, who's still in the chat, I think presumably he's gonna have his show tonight in a few hours. Best of the best. I dropped his link. I'll put it in here again as well, if not. And then my show's Saturday. I don't know what's going on Saturday, but may have a guest from New Wave. So we'll see. We'll see if that pans out. And then I think the next week or two, Terry should be coming on. So that'll be fun. Rob, you're, of course, more than welcome to be there as well.
That could be fun.
Talk some Picard. Doesn't get old. Never gets old.
Never gets old.
No.
It never does.
Season 1 or 2, but season 3,
which is different.
Yeah, it's the best, guys. It's the
all
best.
Good.
Really, yeah, Amir, yeah. So stay tuned on that, man. We're just working out schedules right now, but absolutely. So, all right, guys, we're out of here, man. We'll talk all night. Again, go check out Rob. Subscribe to all of us. Hit that like button on the way out, and yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
All right.
Later. Thanks, Rob.
Adios, man. I'll see you later.
All right, we'll see you guys.